So today we'll be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. Now this concept has been done pretty much all over the mapping genre of content, and now I'm doing my own version of it, and it's gonna be great. So make sure to like this video, subscribe, because it's about to get crazy. And now in real life, civilization started in the Middle East, in Arabia, with the Mesopotamian civilization, but now we are gonna change the location and instead change it to where the original human race began, in Ethiopia. So we see the first group of people popping up right here, about in this middle part of Ethiopia, which is pretty mountainous, but it isn't that bad of a place to live. And in this little pocket of explored land by humans, we will have the first city-state being formed. Now, example of city-states in real life, modern day, will be Vatican, San Marino, etc. But basically not a microstate, a city-state, it's a country that consists of only one city, an independent city. And now we are gonna see the first one being formed right here in Ethiopia, which will be like this. Things are going good for this state. They are starting to gain population. They are starting to kind of build up the first economy of this time, and they will continue to explore here down south. But the people are a little unhappy with something, and that's the fact that they are going south and not north. People would like to go north, but they don't. So this will lead to some of the people of the red team simply just abandoning them, ditching them, and going by themselves. They will go up north, a group right here and a group right here, which is scary close to the sea, and in fact they make it to the sea. And after they made it to the sea, now things are going very well for them. They establish very well in this part, and they are starting to settle this area. As for these people, they are exploring this more and more without their original government even being aware of what's happening, and this will lead to the birth of the second and third states. So we first see this huge city-state forming, which is the blue team, and now going over to the sea, we see what's essentially Djibouti being formed right here on the Indian Ocean coast. And now these three countries are starting to prosper. The wealthiest right now is the yellow country, then it's the blue one and the red one, which now will start to send some explorers out to check out what happened to their population, because their population has been decreasing, and they found out that their population has left and formed these two new countries, which are even stronger and more wealthier than they are. So they will be jealous, and they will decide that it's now time to expand. And now we kind of see the first actual country being formed, and they start to expand. In fact, this is all the land that they claim, a huge piece of land, even taking a little more here. And now the countries surrendering them, the countries surrounding them are a little worried, as they should be. But before we get into the answer that they have for the red team, we will see more exploration, very successful exploration. Now they are starting to leave the Ethiopian highlands, which again, pretty bad area to stay in, but not the worst. But now as they get Up here it's now going a lot better, and they are starting to explore this area up here in the north. Also with more southern expansion, exactly what the red team did that these people didn't like, but you know, governments don't always keep their word, and their exploration goes around to here. Also even more here on the west, they start to expand through here with their exploration. But now the blue team, seeing the red team expansion, they feel threatened and they decide to expand, moving right to their border because they are not scared. And we kind of see the first tensions between countries rising up, and you know, they will set an official claim. They will be claiming all this land, and now the red team is ready to fight. But before that happens, we will get to the nice yellow team, a super prosperous nation, and let's see what they will be claiming. They will go around like this and take all the explored lands. They have kind of a wish to explore the world in a way, and they took all this nice land, and now they are going to explore even more. You know, they are pretty good explorers. Fair enough, coming that they came from the red team, which, you know, they were like red team explorers, so yeah. And they will explore all this, and now they will continue south, going here, and now they are starting to meet more and more of the ocean. But now a bit of a storyline dilemma. Some red team explorers that saw what the yellow team did and their expansion and exploration, they will now go through here, and along the way they get lost. I don't know how they got lost, but they got lost, and now they no longer know where they are. They get lost around here on the coast, where they decide to settle. They will be taking all this land that they have explored, and from here they will continue their exploration because that's what they were doing, and they kind of got disturbed by them being lost. So they will move through here, and they have a similar mindset to the red team of being expansionist, powerful. They wanna kind of continue the lineage of the red team and do what they were doing. They wanna be great like them, but no, now they wish to be a new country, a new strong country, and they have the wish of potentially going back to their nation in the near future. But for now that will not be happening because they'll take all this land. But after the purple team got all this land, they'll now expand through here. They will explore a lot of this land, and eventually both of these pockets, this pocket will get explored by the purple team and this one by the yellow team, which are now super friendly with each other, which is nice to see. It's nice seeing countries collaborate. We will now see the purple team do some last explorations in here as they hope to kind of expand their country and power into here, and they kind of explore up to here and north to here, kind of completing some of the red team explorations. You will see some more exploration by the red team and blue teams happen throughout here to this part, and they explore up to here, and that's about how they and how far they can go up to now. Going over to the yellow team, we will see them set up a huge claim out in here through the new explored lands, and they meet up with their Somali coast in here, taking everything they have explored, and they'll take this and this. The purple team won't miss out on this expansion as they take a lot of land, and they take all this land and meet up with the yellow team, and now they are huge and they look awfully similar to real life Somalia. Interesting, maybe some things might overlap with them or not, but yeah, going over to the red team, they will have a huge money influx which will help them take a lot of land, and they take this and this. Basically it's a huge claim, but they've been building up their economy up until now, and that's what they have right now, and they'll be the first country to get a capital, an official starting point. So now, as you can see, the red team has a capital right here where they started, and I can switch this on and off so you can see it whenever it is the need to see it, but for now it isn't. So we will now go to the blue team, which has a similar aspect as the red team. They've been building up their economy a lot, and now they will be putting it to use. By taking over a lot of this land, they will go up to the explored parts and up into here. Actually, they will manage to take this entire part, which is huge for the blue team, but now there's not a lot of land left that they haven't explored, so they will go right in and do just that with a huge exploration group. Now also the red team has found the purple team. It's kind of salty about that, but you know, they have bigger issues to focus on. The blue team is being a pretty big distraction for them. They will go up to here, take a lot of this land, this very rich land. They'll move up to here. The blue team will move up to here. Don't think the red team will go this way, and they explore up to this part where they will take this land, not take it but explore it. Same with this, they will make some explorations through here and end up taking this part. And now we are kind of starting to see kind of like a medieval age of exploration, and it's pretty cool because these countries are having a lot of success in exploration. They'll also move right here and meet up with these lakes, with Lake Tanganyika and stuff. And this is a pretty nice water supply for them. Now they no longer need to rely on the sea. Now they can go right to this lake. For now, the yellow team and the purple team don't really have where to explore or where to colonize. The purple team has where to, but they'll be cut off by the red team, which will go right through here and try to overlay over the blue team, but that wouldn't really work. Speaking of which, now they will be the ones to make the next move, moving up north. And now the tensions are starting to kind of slow down because they expended so much. There's not really any need for these tensions anymore. But you know, they will still be there because of the historic rivalry. But now we are gonna see the yellow team do something pretty interesting, and they will go over and explore Arabia, ignore their problems with the sea. I don't know why that's happening, but they explore here in Arabia. Also this small part, and then they explore all this. The yellow team will try to go in Arabia and try to colonize this land, but they will be very unlucky because now the red team shifted its focus from the blue team to the yellow team. Now, as you can see, out of these 4 countries, 3 of them have access to the sea, the red team does not, and the yellow team is super unlucky because they are the weakest out of these countries, both militarily and not economically, but the red team is slightly better due to their oldness, due to their age. So I mean, they are getting invaded. And let me tell you something about these early ages. Countries really didn't have militaries. This is kind of the first attempt at military, and it's going good. The yellow team will try to make some pushbacks, and they will, a few of them will succeed, but overall not many. They will push over to their border, but here they are stopped because now the red team forces are arriving and they will get clapped. They lose all this land. They take land up around here, and now we are gonna see something very unfortunate with this land breaking away. And now the red team will move over to these parts of the yellow team until they will surrender and the red team won. So now let's see what they take and what happens to the yellow team. So this is how the yellow team is going to be carved up. The red team will take this piece of land with now them having access to the sea. As for the yellow team, they have kind of been clapped, they have got reduced to this. And also the yellow team will be very unlucky with this lime country getting its independence plus this land, because they are cut off from the yellow team. They can no longer supply each other, they can no longer keep contact with each other. So yeah, both of these countries are now separated and they are both very weak. But the red team is still hungry for expansion, and they will go after their main op, the blue team. The red team will start to move right here alongside the border of the yellow team, moving slowly but surely and taking all this land. And the blue team thought they were chill with the red team, but really they weren't. Now the blue team is way stronger than the yellow team was, and they actually have a military, so they will manage to push back, especially in this area, being super successful. But at long last the red team is stronger, so they will manage to push back and take all this land, kind of starting to encircle the yellow team until the blue team just decides to surrender. So now let's see what the red team takes from the blue team. So as we can see, the red team will take all this land and the rest will go over back to the blue team, so they didn't lose as much or as bad as the yellow team, but still, it still was a loss nonetheless, and it was not fun. So now the blue team will kind of resort to exploring, and they will go up north in here and take up around here, taking all this land and exploring it. Now they will start to colonize a little bit of this. They only take this because they really can't afford because of the war, but you know, it is what it is, and it is nice for them. And now to the final expansion of the video. It will be made by, guess who, Mr. Red Team himself. but the blue team will still move a little around here, taking this land. As for the red team, they will go down south, meet with this lake and this lake. In fact, they meet with the explored lands and go around all this land, with now the purple team taking the rest, as they are basically becoming the Chile of these ancient countries. We see the new lime country taking this island, and now for the final event of the video we will have the yellow team explore here into Arabia, because you know they lost the war to the red team and they really don't have anything to do. They will explore all this land and they are looking forward towards colonizing it, but for now they won't. At the end of the last episode we saw the red team invade the yellow and blue teams, and now there's a lot of people who don't really like living in this place because it's quite warish, so they will decide to go up north in an attempt to make a new civilization. So they march up north, explore to these areas of Egypt, they go up north, they meet around with this area, which they will eventually explore all. And now they are continuing because this is a super vital area for living. They found the Nile, which is super great for them, and they meet up with where the Suez Canal would be in real life, as well as also having some exploration groups go through here and explore some land in here, just like that. Also some groups will go right here through where modern day Libya would be, and they managed to reach pretty far, about to here, which they eventually explore. But after they explored all this land, now they will be colonizing it and forming a new nation right here, forming what's essentially modern day Egypt, and it's gonna be a super large country due to the amount of people that moved here, and it almost borders with the blue team. And just like that we have a huge nation forming right here in Egypt. As for its capital, it will be right here, pretty close to the Nile, but not really. It's almost the border city of the Nile. But anyway, now we will jump to the yellow team. In the last video they were very unlucky because they found the Arabian Peninsula and they wanted to colonize it, but right before they managed to do it, the red team jumped them and took a lot of land from them, which was very bad for them. But now that the red team has done what it wanted to do, they will now be free to go right here and start colonizing the Arabian Peninsula right here in this part of what real life Yemen would be. They take this land and they already see the potential of this area, and already the yellow team starts about thinking of maybe using this land and all of its potential to maybe go back and fight the red team and reclaim their lost lands. Speaking of the red team, now they are gonna do something funny, and that something funny is the fact that they want land. They are super expansionist, they are a dictatorship. We already showed that at the beginning of the video, but they want land, but they do not necessarily want to fight. So they will do something super interesting, and that's the fact that they will supply a rebellion in the purple team. As the rebellion quickly moves through here in their southern portions. And now a little bit of a and now as a summary of what the purple team is. It appeared in the last episode after a red team explorer group got lost from the red team, but after they found the red team back, they decided that they will not return to it, which was pretty weird considering that the red team is their home country and they like the red team and its expansionist ways, but they decided to not return to it, and because of that now they will have to suffer as these pockets start appearing more and more, even more. They merge into one. They meet up with the border of the red team to get supplies from them, and from there it is cut off. They take a lot of land. Eventually they encircle their capital, which leads shortly to the fall of their capital. They lose it to the rebellion hands. Now the Lime team for some reason intervened in this war and it's now starting to take land out of the Purple team, but not too much because as of now the Lime team is the weakest of the countries, but they will not manage to expand that much because the rest will fall over to the Red Rebellion. And now as you can see the Purple team had completely fallen through, and now let's see how it will be divided up between the rebellions. Alright, I did not want to do this. What did I do with my map? So as you can see the purple team no longer exists, and now if we go over and turn on the province layer, you can exactly see how they split up the purple team, with the lime team taking these provinces and the new rebellion will claim the rest. Now for simplicity's sake I will keep the purple team, well, purple, but doesn't really even matter because mysteriously a couple days later we see the purple team join the red team. Now actually this was part of the red team's plan to make them annex the purple team, but no one really knows because stuff like this is very unpopular. And now we will go here where they will explore more land. Now we will see them start exploring here in the west, covering a lot of these areas, meeting up with some of these lakes and explore all this land with a lot of potential. And now they will be using that set potential to explore right in these areas where they couldn't up until now because the land wasn't explored. The blue team won't miss on this opportunity as they explore a lot of this land and eventually all this gets explored, and now they will start claiming a lot of their land, but something very bad is about to happen. While they were exploring and colonizing this land, they found Egypt. And even some blue team diplomats went there and discovered the fact that the Egyptian nation started because of people leaving Ethiopia because of all the wars happening there. And now the blue team is understandably very, very mad at them. And tensions are starting to rise up between them, but before that happens we will have a couple more events happen, such as huge explorations throughout Africa, and eventually they meet up with the Atlantic coast. And I remind you, this happened over years, like a lot of years. This didn't just happen in like, I don't know, a year or two. No, this happened over like 50 years or something. But now we will go to Southern Africa because we will have a new race of humans begin right here on the coast of Central Africa, right here through this and they discover all this new race of humans, and eventually they will start their nation right here about where Nigeria and Ivory Coast would be in real life, taking all this and even manage to go on this island and take it. Shout out to the yellow team, they are exploring a lot of Arabia. They move up here to Kuwait and eventually explore all this land. Listen up, the yellow team really has nothing better to do with their lives rather than just exploring. But now with their explorations, they will also start to colonize, moving rapidly across all this territory, and eventually they will take all of this land. And now the yellow team truly is starting to come apart, while also making new claims here up to where Qatar would be in real life, taking all this land. The yellow team truly started to kind of find its role, and that is to explore and conquer Arabia. Here in Arabia, Egypt will make some explorations here, even meeting up with the yellow team, and let me tell you, from the first time they are super friendly with each other. They are actually super friendly, which is super nice of them. You know, they kind of share the same history, like a bullied nation that just wants to go and live in peace and conquers land. Yeah, very similar between the two. Speaking of Egypt, now they will go right to the blue team border and start exploring a lot of this land. Not exploring, but colonizing it, taking just like this some land. They would have taken some more, but now they are gonna be greeted with a Libyan country forming right here. And from the first time, again, it's a super big country, because by this time forming countries is very easy. There's a lot of unexplored land, so basically everybody that would want to form a nation can form one. As for their capital, it would be right here. And now we don't go too far, because we now see a Tunis-like country forming right here very close. Also claiming over these Algerian lands. And they'll be having all this land. Now giving it a capital about here, right on the tiny Tunis Peninsula. We now see a lot of exploration in Arabia, even meeting up with the Caspian Sea. Honestly, the yellow team and orange teams are very good explorers, and they cooperated, so they are able to explore all this very great land. Honestly, the yellow team might become a superpower if they keep expanding, but they will be moving up to here and take all this land. To be fair, the yellow team is now huge. I think it's even bigger than the red team, their main rival. Speaking of which, they will now move down here, meeting up with the lake they just discovered a while ago and fully enclosuring Lake Tanganyika, and they will be taking all this land. Now they are gonna do some more explorations here in the west, and they will follow to take all this land. We now see a Israel country forming up to this region, taking all these lands even up into Egypt, which makes them kind of mad, but they really can't do anything. Their capital will be right here, nice right there. And now purple Libya will move up to here, taking all this land, claiming all this, and then Egypt will take the rest. The new African country will move up to here, meeting up with the Morocco territory, taking all this land. Now they are a super big country, which is good for them and will lead to them. Now they will go right through this area and start exploring it into these Iberian lands, and they will end up explore all this and the Spanish islands, and eventually start to colonize this land which they just found. Even managing to take this Spanish Isle and this middle one, and also this last one. Now they will manage to explore Sardinia and Corsica, and going over to Purple Libya they will manage to explore Sicily, and now they will start to explore what is the Italian peninsula, nicely exploring all this. As now basically a huge world quest to explore the world happens, they will explore a lot of Anatolia coming up to here. And now we see the Nigerian country moving up to here, and we also see the red team meeting up with them, and they are actually super intrigued by each other. Obviously none of them knew about the existence of each other, but they are quite intrigued to work together, which isn't something that I thought I would say about the red team due to their dictatorship values and their political system not being the best one. Immediately the red team will sell Nigeria a lot of their equipment, and now they manage to take all this land. And now we see Nigeria exploring a lot of Africa, a lot of Central Africa, meeting up with this area and exploring all this. Now let me tell you, Nigeria is now reaching its peak. They are becoming extremely strong, and that's due to the red team helping them. And now we also see the Tunis country and Purple Libya moving across to here, and eventually they explore all this land. We now see Egypt taking a little more land and taking all this, which now makes them pretty big, and now they are also starting to become strong. And we are now starting to see our first empires forming. Going over to Nigeria, we see them finally getting a capital, and that's mostly due to the help that they got from the red team. We see more explorations here into Persia and now up into the Pakistan region. They managed to explore all this, and also we see them exploring up here into the Caspian region, taking this land and exploring it. As for here, they meet with the Caucasian mountains, but they are blocked by the Set mountains. Now we see Cyprus and Crete end up explored, and the rest of Anatolia ends up being explored. And now they finally march into Europe, taking over and exploring these Balkan lands. Now we see the yellow team expanding over through their new Persian lands they have just explored. And now Israel is also moving and ends up going to here, taking this and this. For the final exploration of the video, we see The blue team explored that little pocket of land, while the red team and their newly acquired friend with Nigeria managed to explore all this, and now almost all of North Africa is explored. We now see Nigeria moving across rapidly all this land, and let me tell you, they are becoming big. I lied, there's a little more exploration in this land, but doesn't really matter. I guess I lied again because there is more exploring by the Africans, by the Tunisians, and they explore all of Iberia and down into southern France. As for Libya, with the help of the Africans, they managed to explore the Italian peninsula, and now it truly seems like some countries might form here in the next episode. But now we see Nigeria moving across this land, and this land taking more land, and let me tell you something, they really don't know how much instability this is causing to their nation. They are just happy to expand and explore land. Now Israel will be expanding a little bit more into these lands. And then we see a couple people managing to get to Cyprus, and now they form that country. Their capital is right here. So the first thing we are gonna see happen is a lot of exploration in Europe, right here in the French areas and even in the Alps, which is pretty impressive for these early civilizations, and they will explore even up here into Romanian regions and up here into Odessa, meeting up with the Ukrainian river, exploring all this. And very predictably, this is gonna lead to a lot of new countries forming. First of all, we are gonna see a pretty big country form here in Italy, in the northern regions up here, meeting with the border of the Italian peninsula, taking all this land. And this is gonna be known as the Romani Republic. Second of all, we are gonna see quite a big Greek nation forming up to here, meeting up with the Constantinople, Istanbul region right in here, and in the Greek Isles, taking all this land and even managing to take Crete. This is how the final country looks like, and now we are gonna jump right here to the nice place called the Iberian Peninsula, where Morocco, or how you wanna call it, will explore up to here into these Andalusian regions, taking all this. But we are finally gonna see something bad happening to them, as all these new regions, all their Andalusian lands, breaks away free, taking a lot of this land, and eventually they take all of their claims, even the Spanish Isles. And now I just added all the capitals to the new countries. Greece has their capital right here in the little part of their Greek peninsula. The Romani Republic has it, fair enough, in Rome. And the new Andalusian country, which has the Galician color, but we don't talk about that, has it right here where Spain and Portugal would be in real life. Now we are gonna see the new Romani Republic manage to take Corsica, and also they will go in and claim a bit of the Italian peninsula, but they will be greeted by one of their newfound enemies, that one being Greece, which will take the southern part, and Sicily, which understandably so makes Libya kind of mad, but they really can't do anything because already Greece uses all their European potential to be stronger and to become stronger. I mean, I'm sure there won't be a scramble for Africa in this series, isn't that right, guys? But anyway, Europe is a hot spot for explorers because there's a lot of potential in this land. and we see a huge amount of exploration happen out in here, and we also see some more in these areas of Germany in the Benelux. So let me fix up the borders a little, and this is all they explore. And let me tell you, people like explorating Europe. Like they, you know, civilization started in Africa, and as we know, Africa, huge Saharan desert, even if at this point the Sahara wasn't even that big of a desert, but still, it's a pretty hot area, and humans would much rather live in the foresty and cold area of Europe. We now see the Romanian Republic doing something again, and they will also occupy Sardinia. And now with all the new explored land they got, they will move across this land and up here into the Yugoslavian Croatian parts. And oh, I love these borders. I already love this country. Yeah, this country will get plot armor. The only country we haven't discussed so far is Galicia, but now it's their turn as they move across freely and explore a lot of this land. Not explore, but colonize it. And they end up with all this area, which again very valuable. And by now, there's a pretty big debate in the country if they should whether move their capital here around the middle of the country or if they should keep it here, which causes a lot of instability, so we'll come here a bit in a second. Going back to North Africa, we will see all of North Africa being explored finally. Now all this land is finally connected between the humans, and this is gonna lead to a lot of new countries and a lot of new trade. Except that the gold team will be very naughty and claim a huge portion of the land, taking over all this land. The gold team really just come and said, is this for me? And apparently it is, because they just claimed all this area, and this basically makes them the first empire, and they are pretty obviously the biggest and strongest country in the world, unless they just collapsed. Yeah, no mercy for them, they're dead. So as you can see, yeah, the gold team collapsed, they fully lost their nation, and now the red team lost its biggest ally, but not a very good ally and friend, because come on, look at what they just did. They just went and took a lot of the world and basically come and said, yeah, that's mine, you can have it. Also, yeah, they lose this land, but fair enough. With their collapse, we are gonna see some new countries form off of its territory. So as you can see, the gold team has been decimated and they have been kind of screwed over. I mean, they used to control all this land, basically all of this new explored land, and now they have been reduced back to even less land than they had at the beginning of the video, and they are even split between 3 countries. And yeah, and now we are gonna review all of them. So going to the remains of the gold team, this is what they remain with, and their capital remains in roughly the same place. Also they get their island back. Now we have the pink team, which is a democracy. Also forgot to tell you this, and also I didn't brought it up at the beginning of the video because I didn't do it, but the gold team was a dictatorship just like the red team because of all the influence they gave them, but they were a dictatorship and now they remain a dictatorship. But the pink team is a full democracy, a lot of support by the people. And also we have the sky blue team. Honestly, I love this color. Yeah, this country is also getting plot armor, I'm sorry guys. And basically the role of these 2 countries is to kind of go back and retake the gold team and reform their empire as a democratic republic. That's basically their goal and what their people want, because now they've been for like quite a few years in the control of the gold team, and they don't want to come back under that dictatorship rule, and now they want a republic. But now going over to the Anatolian Peninsula, guess what? So this is gonna be a match. Who wants to be a millionaire? What's gonna happen in Anatolia? A. It will form one big united country. 2. It will get colonized. Or 3. It will get balkanized. 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is 3. They are getting balkanized. Hey! Yippee! So as you can see, these are all our new countries in Anatolia. First of all, we have the pink team, and also as you can see, I added their capitals, but we have the pink team, we have the purple team, which interestingly enough has their capital in Istanbul, but for how close that city might be to Greece, in fact, it's a bordering city with Greece, but they are friendly with Greece, and Greece kind of funded the people to make their nation, so they have no problem with that, and their relations are instantly good. We now see a southern country. Also, they have Rhodes Island form right here in their capital, which is basically Antalya. Now we see another country which is quite friendly with Israel. Now we see a country in the middle which is absolutely cooked. They are in dire need of some ocean because it's dry there. Now we have a Pontus like country forming in here, a pretty nice country. It's purple and has their capital right there. As for this final part, it's not a new country, but rather Israel will colonize this part and make it, well, part of their country, because that's what colonization entails. Just wait, Africa. Just wait for like episode 20 or something. Going over to Arabia, we are gonna see this part end up colonized and partitioned between the very nice yellow country, which by this point it's actually quite one of the strongest countries in the world. They will claim this area. As for Israel, it will claim a similar portion, taking all this land. And now we can finally take a look at our almost filled in Arabian Peninsula. Going over from the south with the yellow team up to here on the west north with Israel and whatever happens in Anatolia. Also Cyprus is there. I like Cyprus. And there is the rest, which we might see some colonization, we might see some other countries form, but anyway. Now going over to the Horn of Africa, we finally see the red team having enough and trying to fully finish this part of the continent and fully claim it as part of their own, as they now invade into the lime team, and there's no hope for these guys. They immediately get cooked and get run over by the very, very nationalistic and very cruel red team army, which is doing horrible stuff to the civilians. And we kind of see the first genocide starting to happen. I needed to censor that because YouTube. But we kind of see them shoot the people, not shoot because we don't have guns, but stab the people, and it's not good. So let's see what they do. Unsurprisingly, we will see the red team fully annex the lime team, and with this the red team has basically took almost the entirety of the OG countries. The only two remaining are the blue team and the yellow team, which, to be fair, now if the red team would want, to go for them, they will have to fight this entire thing, which by now is probably the strongest country, not the strongest, but one of the strongest countries in the world. And by this time, I think it's only fair that we actually do a power ranking. So the fifth strongest country in the world is Greece. I mean, they are quite new, but they are strong. They have potential and they use that potential to help them, and because of that, they are the fifth strongest country in the world. Fourth is Egypt, and I don't think I need to explain this one. I mean, it's Egypt. I mean, throughout its history in real life and in this series too, they have the Nile, which helps them with water supplies and stuff, and because of that, they are very strong. Third will be Blue Team. I mean, they haven't really done much, but they've built up, and because of that, they became strong. As our second, we will see the Red Team, unsurprisingly, and honestly, this is quite worrying for the world because everybody knows how cruel the Red Team could be. And going over to our number one, the strongest country in the world, basically since the last episode, is none other than the Yellow Team. They are super strong, they are super friendly with the world, which led to them having a lot of trade and stuff, which permitted them to go ahead and become a superpower. So as a little recap, Greece number 5, they had a super great start, and already with the beginning of their nation, they used all this new early potential to become very strong. Egypt as the fourth, Nile and stuff, gives them opportunities. Third, the Blue Team, their age and their building has for sure helped them become strong. The Red Team has the two because they are super militaristic and spend a lot of money for their military and super nationalistic army and country as a whole. And as the number one, the Yellow Team, because they just have a lot of land and a lot of resources, so that's self-explanatory. Going over to Iberia, we now see them fully colonize their Spanish areas, taking all this land of Catalonia, and their problems, their political problems, their problems with the civilians are now starting to get bigger and bigger. They are starting to become unstable, and this is a sign of cracking for them just because they are stubborn with the location of their capital city being right here, totally disconnected from the country. And there's a lot of people who support the idea of moving the capital on a city right here on the coast of Portugal, where another very big city is. Unfortunately, I don't have the major cities updated because I'm literally recording this video, but still. Jumping over to the Romanian Republic, we see their exploration groups manage to explore all these areas of Northern Europe and manage to explore all this land, also the Danish islands. But now jumping over to the Romanian Republic, we see them cooking something up. They will send huge colonization scouts up here into France to colonize all this area and meet up with these parts of France, and eventually with this they colonize all this land and even go further, take a lot of land in here in the Alps, and they are kind of starting to become the equivalent of Rome of this timeline, and we immediately see them overtake Greece in the power rankings, so now they are the fifth strongest. And with this we see the formation of the Romani Empire. This empire will be very important in this series. It will be a very influential one and the one that the people will be scared of. This empire already took the world by storm. Initially, the Romani Republic seemed like a very chill country, one that you can trade with, but now they are full imperialist and they took already all of the Gallia region that the Romans had in real life, and they don't seem to slow down because also they made their explorations up in the north. Scared for its life, Greece will understandably go in and take a lot of these Yugoslavian lands, meeting up with the Romani Empire, and now call them the Romani Empire, not the Romani Republic, because they are no longer a republic. They are full imperialist. They do not care what your country is, what ideology it has. They are now cruel out of nowhere. Right now I wanna tell you all that I updated the layers, the ideologies, provinces, major cities, and even added a religion layer which will update over time. So we'll go right over to the yellow team when I wanna talk about something, and that something is that, the yellow team is huge. It's fair enough the strongest country in the world. It has a lot of territory. They took a lot of Arabia, and there's really no reason as they would keep their capital right here in Africa, where they have the constant threat that is the red team, and it's just simply not a reason to keep it in here, even though this is where they originated from. So they will end up moving their capital, and they will move it right here into this major city right here where their new capital belongs. Turning major cities off, we can see that now the yellow team moved its capital here on the coast of the Red Sea, and it's this now over time evolved to be the new biggest city of the yellow team. The second, fair enough, still being the former capital, but now this grew into the largest city and they decided to move their capital. But now going over to the Nigerian parts of Africa where the remains of the gold team are, with the sky blue team and the pink team. They are democracies. Also, I'm gonna turn on the ideology layer. As you can see, the gold team is a dictatorship, while these two guys are very, very democratic, and they feel quite unsafe. They broke off from the gold team and they might try to take them back. So with this, they are gonna sign an alliance together. So for our first alliance, we'll have the circle alliance being created between these two guys to counter the power of the gold team and to potentially stop them against a future conquest, and now they will hold each other's backs. But this is gonna spark some thinking around the world. And here now we see with Egypt and Israel. As you can see, Israel controls the Nile Delta, which Egypt really wants. But Israel controls it, and Egypt is stronger, and Israel feels unsafe, and really feels as if Egypt might go to war with them. Also, Libya is very unhappy with Egypt because they would wish some of this coast and maybe some of their inner territories. So we'll have an alliance being signed between Libya and Israel. And here I welcome you to the square alliance between Libya and Israel. Now these two militarily united against Egypt, which will make them very, very mad. And they really don't think in this alliance. Egypt really doesn't believe in this alliance, and they will be dumb enough to go in anyway and start taking Israel's land here in the Nile Delta, and I don't know what's happening to the ocean, just ignore that. But now we will see the alliance getting involved because Egypt just invaded their ally Israel, so Libya will join the war. But now it's time for a little bit of a lore dump because something just happened in the blue team. They got a new leader. They got a new leader known as Zimov Xalans, and you know, he this leader is very expansionist. This leader is very expansionist, so he will decide to also join the war and join the Square Alliance, not officially, but for this war. And Egypt is screwed. Immediately Israel will go in and retake their land in here and starts pushing into Egypt. Now Libya will truly carry their own weight, pushing right here into all these lands and becoming pretty clearly strong, you know, that's interesting. But now comes the MVP of them all, the blue team, which will have a swift show by totally dismantling Egypt. They just have no hopes. And this is a true swift show into showing how strong the blue team is. They'll take a lot of this land, and this is happening very fast. They take all this land across the Nile River and encircle their capital right here. Israel will make some final pushes up here, taking all this nice land. As for the rest, it's gonna be taken over by the blue team. Egypt just got cooked by Israel, Libya, and the blue team, so let's see how they are divided up, because they are not gonna come out pretty in this peace treaty. So as you can see, Egypt has been completely partitioned, with the blue team taking all this land. This is a huge amount of land. Then Libya will come in, and I changed their color because they were way too similar with the blue team, and I risked to have like the map blend in and accidentally unite these two. And now for Israel, they will get some of this land, and goodbye Egypt, it just got clapped. Now we erase that smile off the map, and with this Egypt has been completely partitioned between these guys, and now the blue team really shows why it's so high in the power rankings. Again, on the alliance layer, we have the square team here up north. The blue team left it. They were there just for the war. They didn't like join it for good or something. But now their leader Zimov Xelans is happy, understandably so, because he's very imperialist, and he's now starting to look forward at maybe going in and taking out this alliance which he worked with. And maybe from there, after taking them, they could take Carthage, and from there go into Europe, take all this land, and maybe go back in and take the red and yellow teams and basically unite the world. That's his vision. Now in Europe, the tensions keep brewing between the Romani Empire and Greece, and also Galicia has some high instability issues. So they will decide to go in and potentially solving their problems together by forming the new triangle alliance between the two nations, and together feel as if they can take the Romani Empire down. They will be able to conquer Europe and eventually the world. So with this, we see them declaring war on the Romani Empire, and we see the start of the War of 1 AD. Yep, that's right, we are officially in the year 1 AD, and this is the first war of the new times. We now see Greek forces advance into the Romani Empire, taking a lot of this land and moving right across here, but they are unsuccessful in advancing further because we are about to see why. And just let me tell you, it's not pretty. They will immediately sweep across the Italian peninsula, taking all this land. Also, they will take Sicily, and you can barely see the colors, but anyway, now they will move across here and retake their land, and now they will start to rightfully advance into Greece's territory, and They are starting to question why they joined this war. No worries, cause Galicia's here, except that they kind of move across here, take some land, but yeah, this doesn't last long, and again, I don't know what happens to the ocean, but it doesn't last long, and then what happened to Greece happens to them as they take a lot of land, move across here, takes their isles, and they move across these Catalonian lands, and now we are gonna see something super funny happen. Do you remember all that instability I talked about Galicia in the last video? Yeah, now it's going back to hit them. And the huge rebellion in here will happen with rightfully what's Galicia breaking out in here. This sign country is actually like Andalusia. They take the super big city I talked about in the last video. Also, I'm gonna go on the major cities layer and show it to you here. And now the Romani Empire will sweep across these guys. They are hopeless and they lose their capital, and then basically they are forced into surrender by the Romani Empire. And now all their troops are focused on Greece. The troops keep going down into here, but they're gonna be stopped by, well, the Greek army. But now we are gonna see something super unfortunate with a naval landing here in Albania, encircling the troops, and eventually they all fall and die. From here they are gonna lose their Thrace lands up here into Istanbul, and they will lose their capital, and Greece will agree to peace. The War of 1 AD is basically the deadliest war of these times, and let's see how it ends up in the peace treaty. So as you can see, this is the peace treaty. It's huge, and we will begin right here in Iberia, the peace treaty to the War of 1 AD. We will begin the peace treaty to the War of 1 AD right here in Iberia with the new not Andalusian, but Galician country, with their capital in the major city I talked about a lot. And Galicia kind of got screwed over. It's not because they lost a lot of land. I mean, they lost half of their country, but it's more about the fact that they lost a lot of potential land and a lot of progress. But anyway, going over to the Romani Empire, they will annex the islands, the Spanish Isles, also taking all this Catalonian land, and the Romani Empire is quickly approaching the power rankings, and it's going up. By now I think it's fourth, because Egypt, let's just say it's now one with the blue team, and yeah. But going over to what Greece has to give in the peace treaty, they lose not all that. And also going over to Greece, we see them losing their Italian peninsula claims and Sicily, and also they lose all these Yugoslavian lands. And the Romani Empire, yeah, is the fourth strongest. They are big and strong, and now basically we have empires. We have as empires the red team, yellow team, blue team, and the Romani Empire, which is an empire since the last video. And now they will decide to go further with their colonization by taking over some of these Swiss lands. They move right across here and up into the Romanian regions, and they take all this. Also they go in and take some of this land right here, claiming all this, and some more into Germany, Switzerland, taking this land. And now the Romani Empire is starting to become even bigger and started to kind of add a bit of thickness to its borders. We now see a Romanian country forming right here out of people who really don't really want to expand. They aren't really expansionist like this. Mostly it's the people from the mountains without coastal access, they farm, and the people on the coast, on the sea, they fish. And it's gonna be a pretty economically wealthy country, and it's gonna be known as the Farmers Union. Yep, that's right, I ripped off another country from Addis Pros Wicso. Only if I got rid of Greece. Hehehe, oink oink. With all these new countries, we are gonna also see, well, exploration happening in here, and they go in up to Finland and in here into Scandinavia. Again, people in this timeline, they want to explore, you know, they want to. It's like something common to be part of an exploration group and to like lead explorations through the world and stuff, you know. It's a pretty common job, you know. And also they will go in here and explore parts of Norway and Sweden. Understandably so, they will also explore their islands. And now Europe is almost fully explored. Now going over to Caucasia, we see explorations here led by Israel and the yellow team, which we should discuss here in a second. And by discussing, I mean we will have these Middle Eastern guys go in and colonize these lands. Now we will go over not to the yellow team, but rather, yeah, the yellow team, but they will go in and explore a lot of lands here in Persia. They explore a lot of lands into Persia, meeting with the Aral Lake. Not taken, but exploring all these lands here and that, and now they kind of prepared this exploration group since the last episode, so it makes sense for them to take all this land and explore it. Now something terrible for the Romanian Empire will happen as a new Dutch country forms in and takes all these lands, and it's a huge movement. It's like massive. They take a lot of land and take all this. This country is huge, and these guys are menaces. And now we are gonna see a super interesting dynamic happening between the new Dutch country and the Romanian Empire, and that's the fact that the people are gonna consider them split countries, like North and South Korea, East and West Germany, but now they are gonna recognize the Romanian Empire as the Southern Empire and the Dutch Empire as the Northern Empire. And they are gonna do something pretty interesting with their capital. They are gonna have dual capitals. Their main capital will be here where Amsterdam would be, but you know, this is fairly close to the Romanian Empire, so they will also get a second capital, and this one will be roughly where Hamburg would be in real life. And that's that, you know, they now have a country. Also, it's about time to also give the new Farmers Union a capital, which will be about here. Now you gotta admit, Europe is becoming pretty cool and pretty hot, but also pretty united, as there aren't that many countries on it, but rather we have multiple countries that are basically united, you know. Europe is a pretty united continent for the most part, except the dynamic between these two new empires, and you know, there's basically two sides in Europe. There's kind of the square team side with Andalusia, Greece, and the Northern Empire, as also known as the Dutch Empire. And also there's kind of the opposite side, which is led by Galicia, the Romani Empire, and sort of Romania, even though they are basically neutral, but you know, they kind of lean more towards the Romani Empire, but again, really, they don't care. If a war were to break out, they would stay neutral. We haven't visited Africa in a while, and that's because from the last video, basically people have organized explorations down into here, exploring all this land in Africa, not all of it though. Exploring all this, and eventually they even make a landing in Madagascar, which leads to the entire place being discovered. And now there's only South Africa, which is still unexplored. And be sure of the fact that in the next episode there will be some countries forming in here. But now we are approaching the end of the video, so we are gonna wrap it up with the blue team expanding, and more exactly they will kind of thicken their borders in here, going around where the red team is, kind of laying on top of them. They are no longer really scared of them. I mean, you just saw in today's video what they did to Egypt, so yeah, life lesson: do not mess around with the blue team because they will beat you. They also like overlay under Libya, which kind of freaks them out, like, what are you doing? But the blue team does not care. The leader does not care. And for the final event, we will have Carthage moving in and taking this part of Morocco, just like this, and now they are starting to become big as well. And with this we end today's video. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.